We are recording the interview of Anthony Barga. Anthony Bargi. The interview is being conducted by Adrian Hill and Jeffrey Briggs from Wright State University Veteran Voices Project. Also in attendance is Colleen Hayden. The interview is being recorded at the Dayton VA in Dayton, Ohio. It is approximately 8:30 a.m. on June 25th, 2015. Okay, so Anthony, when and where were you born?
Frenchtown, Ohio. Frenchtown, Ohio. Actually, 1924 on the 24th day.
Okay. December 24th, 1924.
Yeah.
So who were your parents and what were their occupations?
My parents was Peter Joseph Bargy and Laura York. She was maiden name York. And it was farmers.
Okay, both of them?
But, yeah. I can't think of too much unless you ask questions.
Okay.
18 kids.
Yeah, 18 my family, and there was 3 younger than me.
So you had 17 other siblings?
Yeah.
17 other brothers and sisters.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Did any of them serve in the military as well?
Yeah, I had 2 brothers, Noah Bargy and Paul Bargy.
Okay.
Noah was in New Guinea and Paul was in Europe.
During World War II?
During World War II.
Okay.
Army or?
Army, both of us Army.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
As well as you, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what were you doing before you entered the service?
I worked out on the farm, $30 a month and my board.
Yeah. Did you go to school as well? Were you in high school?
I quit when I was in the 8th grade.
Oh, okay. To work on the farm?
Yeah, work on the farm.
Okay.
One-room schoolhouse.
Wow.
One-room schoolhouse.
Yeah, 3 years was 1-room schoolhouse.
Oh, wow.
There was 3 of us in the first, 3 of us in the second, and 3 of us in the third.
So what branch of the military did you serve?
I served the Field Artillery Battalion, 176th Field Artillery, but it was a lone battalion, and we were under General Patton was our
And this was Army then? You were in the Army?
Army, yeah.
Okay. So did you enlist or were you drafted?
I was drafted.
Okay.
I got a letter from the president, greetings.
Congratulations, right? So what was your initial thought when you got the papers saying you were drafted?
Well, I was tickled. I was glad because I got all the farm.
Yeah.
I had 6 months deferred because the guy I was working for on the farm had sickness, so they deferred me for 6 months.
Okay. You got that? Okay. So would you have picked another branch if you were to enlist yourself, do you think?
No, I probably would stick with the Army because I didn't care for the Navy, and the Air Force I wasn't smart enough.
Okay. So, do you remember what it was like leaving home to go to basic training?
I was tickled to get out of to get away from home.
Yeah. So you were excited?
Yeah. Yeah, I was 18 years old when I was drafted, and it was just like a new occupation.
Yeah. So what year was this when you got drafted then?
November 10th, 1943.
Okay, great. Did you have something?
Where did you depart from? I mean, where did
I went to Columbus. From
Okay.
Fort Hays, Columbus, I went to
Fort Hays?
Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Oh, okay.
Fort Sill, okay.
Artillery base.
All right.
That's
Oh,
where
so they signed you right up for that to begin with then?
I went to
There was
Fort Sill,
other-
Oklahoma right away.
Okay.
So you said what was your specific job? Your artillery?
All we did was get up in the morning and run for a couple miles and eat, and then train. And one thing was nice about it, every Saturday they gave us about a 17-mile hike, so we'd be too tired to go to town.
Of course they did.
Yeah.
Do you recall anything else about your basic training?
The only thing, I got pneumonia. I was in the hospital, but I felt when I jumped the creek, I fell through the ice. And I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. Wow. With pneumonia. But outside of that, we went through the under fire. That was our basic training. We crawled on our bellies until we got to the fence. We rolled on our back and hold our guns up to hold the wire off of us, so we crawl under the wire. Because 30 inches above the ground, they were shooting live ammo at us across the top of you.
Oh, wow.
And one guy got killed. 2 bullets must have hit and went down through him.
Oh,
That's the only thing that I can remember that.
Yeah.
But we 25-mile hike, a forced march, went to work, and I never fell out.
That's
But a
good.
lot of them did.
the advantage of being 19.
Yeah. Do you recall any of your instructors?
I can't remember, but one of them, he was a corporal, and I wouldn't say his name. I always said PK, and they gave me 30 months KP duty. And you may not want this, but well, anyhow, they put me on KP duty, and the cook, he's probably dead now anyhow, but staff sergeant, we'd go to town and we'd take sugar with us and trade the sugar for whiskey. That's the truth.
What a deal.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good deal on your part then.
Well, if we got caught, I was one of the guilty ones.
Did you ever get caught?
No.
Okay, so did you receive any specialized training after?
No, no special training. When I went overseas, I was in service battery, and I laid a lot of telephone wire and rolled it up by arm. And that's every time we moved from town to town, I'd lay a telephone wire out. Then when we moved, we rolled it up by arm.
So what was your specific MOS or your job? Like what was your title? Your artillery, infantry?
I took training as an artilleryman on the 105s, but when I went overseas, this old Virginia National Guard outfit, all of them was in their 40s. One guy was in his 50s. So you know who had to do the work and the running? The young guys.
So you said you got attached to a Virginia National Guard unit? Is that?
Virginia, that's the one we went overseas with.
Okay.
Virginia National Guard.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was 176 Field Artillery Battalion. What we
Okay.
went for.
So you got assigned as a replacement for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just transferred me because I went to those paratroopers. They put me in the Field Artillery Battalion.
All right.
And then I went to the service battery.
Did they were you originally assigned as paratroopers, or were you?
No.
No.
They
They just asked you to do
We
it?
was just there, and we took more like a training. Get up in the morning, and they take you out on the field in hand-to-hand combat. And they said, don't worry, that sand's soft. But when you went over a guy's head, that sand's pretty hard. So I wasn't too encouraged, but I don't know how I got out of it, but they sent me to the field artillery up Camp Butler, North Carolina. And that's when I got another thing there when when I left Fort Sill, Oklahoma, I was had 11 days delayed en route, 11 days to go home one, and the captain says, here's your 11-day discharge, but you got to get a haircut. So I went and had my head butch. I had a butch, and I went home, and on the way home, I was wearing suntans. And I got cold, and I put an OD coat on, and the MPs arrested me for being out of uniform.
That's good stuff.
That was, I mean, little things like that happen.
Yeah.
I rode the bus all the way from Fort Sill home to Sydney.
Oh wow, it's a long
And it
drive.
was cold in May. It was in May.
So how do you think you adapted to that, to the military lifestyle, the food, the physical aspect, and the barracks?
Well, I was young and everything was, I adapted real good because I was young and it didn't bother me. I eat K rations, C rations, and they learned me to smoke. They give me a can of like C rations and K rations with 3 cigarettes in every box. And the only thing I really didn't care too much was their hash, can of hash. It was like eating lard.
Yeah. So you said you picked up smoking when you were in the Army?
Yeah.
So you didn't smoke before you went?
I did. I think I smoked homegrown tobacco and chewed it when we was kids.
Okay.
Got sick too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they issued us free cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
And then we bought cigarettes. You can buy them. I think it was 5 cents a pack. And and I bought a lot of cigarettes. And then when I went to Paris, for 3 days. My buddy stole all my cigarettes.
That's funny.
After the war was over, I went to Paris. I went to London for 7 days, and I went to, I think them's the only 2 places, but each time I come back, my outfit was gone. This is still after the war was over. And then I was transferred to Nuremberg. I was an MP in Nuremberg, guarding American prisoners that was in there for rape and murder. But then the first time I transferred into a prison camp, German PWs and the Hungarians was in there, and I was guarded over there. We walked the fence during the day, and at night we walk up. No, during the day we was in the boxes, the towers. At night we walked the fences and make sure the Germans didn't get out. And I remember one time there's 2 guys shot this one German. He was inside the fence trying to get out. He was cutting a hole through the fence. So they called Corporal of the Guard, you know, and they picked him up with a weapons carrier.
Can you take me from so you went from Fort Sill to where?
I went from Fort Sill to Camp Butler, North Carolina, Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Fort Bragg, they transferred me to Camp Butler, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went overseas.
How'd you get overseas?
Hmm?
Did you take a boat, air?
I went on a boat. I got on the boat July the 1st, 1944.
Mm-hmm.
We left Portland. That's on that paper there.
Mm-hmm.
Got on the boat, and there were 7,000 men on that boat. And all we had was a little life belt with 2 little gas cylinders. They held you up for 2 hours. And I think it took us 11 days to get across.
Yeah.
And we landed, and then I went to Wales. Landed in Wales. And from Wales I went, it's on that paper there, where we went from Wales back to England. And then from England we went across the ocean, English Channel. Yeah. And I landed there, I forget what, it's on there. I went to Wales, South Wales, then from there to Dorset. Then I went to August 16th to Portland, England. And then for August the 19th I went to Normandy Beach in France. Then from there I went to transit areas in France. And then the 26th of August I went to Landon, France. You want me to keep naming them?
No, you're fine. You're fine. I'll get a picture of it, so we'll have it.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
So, so after you get overseas, once you landed in Wales, you went to England, and then you said you landed in Normandy, on the mainland.
Yeah.
Okay, Normandy, France.
Yeah.
Okay, so what did you do when you were in Normandy? Were you just traveling through?
Yeah, we just landed there.
Okay.
We got off.
Where did you end up then?
At a camp area in France.
Okay, and then what was your job assignment there?
Nothing, just waiting till we got to get in battle.
Okay.
We just stayed around, stood guard at night until we got ready to go to battle.
Okay. So when was the first time you actually did, besides just moving around and waiting? When was the actual time you did anything?
We started right away. I mean, I was in the service battery, and the first thing they did was, if they need ammunition or gas, they sent us to the depot area and pick up our supplies, and then we'd go back to the camp. And we drove on the left side of the road.
But that was scary.
But otherwise, I was just busy, and time goes fast. When you get up in the morning and you eat, go through the line and they issue you a chow or whatever it is. If otherwise they give you a can of rations and you open the box and eat. And that was about it. And time went fast. And actually, nighttime guards was crazy because you didn't know whether you were going to get your throat cut or not.
When you were moving, you were assigned to Patton, right?
Yeah.
When you got there.
Yeah.
So Patton was moving up pretty fast
He moved
early.
We moved faster than we could catch up.
Yeah. So you guys were basically playing catch up to
Yeah,
Patton's
yeah.
movements toward Germany, right?
Germans was retreating
Yeah.
faster than we could catch up.
Right, right.
And then Patton wanted all the gas money for the tanks, but we had a hard job getting gas money.
Yeah.
Not money, but gas.
Yeah.
Gas
Cans.
for the trucks. We had a hard job getting, but we traveled pretty fast across France.
Yeah. It looks like the descriptions or the list of places you ended up, that you were just playing catch up more than
Yeah.
anything else to begin
And every
with.
time we stopped, stopped there, we was out in the country.
Yeah. Right.
We wasn't in no town.
Right.
Yeah.
You set up a camp
Yeah.
in the field.
We slept on the ground.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
2 blankets and half a pup tent.
Yeah.
That's it.
Each guy had to have a tent. If you wanted to sleep with somebody, you had to get the other tent, half a tent. And most of it's easier just rolling a blanket on the ground and sleep.
Well, it was August, September,
Yeah.
so perfect.
Yeah.
So, when was the first time, it sounds like, when did you actually catch up to the front?
That's hard to remember. I mean, we was actually in the front all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, we was actually, Germans was retreating and we was advancing.
Catching up to
We
them.
was catching up.
All right.
And we never seen too much because we was in the artillery, so we're 5-6 miles behind lines. Our guns was 4.5 guns. And there was only 2 outfits over there with 4.5 guns. And they kept us secret. And we wasn't allowed to tell nobody what kind of guns we had. And my brother was in the Battle of the Bulge, and I was too, and he knew where I was, but I didn't know where he was.
What'd your brother do?
He was a truck driver in World War II. I don't know what outfit or nothing, I can't remember that.
So did you experience any combat while you were over there? Did you experience any combat when you were overseas?
Spent some time what?
Combat.
Did you see any combat when you were overseas?
No, well, we got bombed. Germans dropped anti-personnel bombs on us and that there, but otherwise we never really, as soon as they shot artillery shells at us, we moved. So you can see how fast we moved.
Yeah.
Because we never really got, one time we got bombed, but otherwise we didn't hardly see combat.
Can you describe that to me? Like what it was like? What that was like?
Well, out in the field, you're all by yourself out there, and we'd stand guard at night, and the next day, we was in the service battery, so we had to travel. We'd lay telephone wires, mostly communication with service battery to headquarters battery. And then the headquarters battery had linemen laid to the gun placements. And everybody had different jobs. And at night a lot of times I was under the switchboards, getting incoming, outgoing calls.
Oh, from...
With guards.
Right.
Yeah. But outside of that, time went fast. It was unbelievable fast.
Yeah.
And when we moved, it was about 10 minutes to get ready. They said CSMO, closed station march order, 10 minutes. And 10 minutes, they would roll them to the next stop. We had to get out fast because the Germans had us zeroed in.
How many times did you ever take a barrage from the Germans? Did your unit ever get hit?
I was in service battery. We never come close. They shoot at the guns.
Okay.
They shot at the artillery.
All right.
We're maybe a quarter of a mile away from the.
Oh, okay. So you wouldn't get...
No, we wasn't close to them.
Right.
We was away from each other.
All right.
Yeah. I lay wire for a quarter of a mile down through the fields, cross roads and stuff like that. But time went real fast, and one time a couple Germans come out of the field, out of the woods, and was going to cut our wire, and we captured those two. And I don't know what the captain did to them.
So, did you have any like troubles? Because you said, you saw them coming in. You were never too close, but did you think that affected you, kind of seeing the aftermath of the destruction or anything like that?
No, not too much. We didn't see too much destruction except the houses, the buildings, the town we rode through. That was all damaged. But we're out in the country, and we didn't see too much. But when we moved, we go through towns, and it was all on the battlefield. Houses destroyed, no windows. People, when we went through the infantry ahead of us, would put all the civilians in one end of the town. Maybe 2-3 houses, and so that they wasn't allowed to leave after dark, and they stayed in them. I danced with girls. This is interesting. I carried an automatic under my left arm and with a carbine over my shoulder, and I danced with the girls.
As you were coming through the towns?
Yeah, we went through town. We wasn't allowed to talk to the German girls, but the French we could.
Yeah.
But that's unbelievable. Now, I was 19 when I did this. I carried a gun under my arm, and a rifle over my shoulder, and I danced with the girls out on the floor.
It's amazing.
See, I didn't have a worry in the world. I went in at 18, and I got out when I was 21.
Did you ever...
He slept on ammunition one time.
Oh yeah. That's interesting. The outfit captured 2 German 88s. And they had about 150 rounds of ammunition. And I was transferred to them to help shoot that shells back at the Germans. They called it the dog battery. And it poured down rain that day, and I had my tent all ready, and with a straw that bunch underneath, so I could go to sleep. And that night it just poured down rain, and I went to get in my tent, and I had 6 inches of water in the bottom of the hole. So I laid on top of the 88's ammunition and went to sleep.
Hey, keeps you dry.
I was dry, I was dry.
Yeah.
But that's for 2 weeks that happened, but I couldn't tell you what month it was or days.
That's fine.
Was it cold out?
It got cold in the wintertime, Battle of the Bulge.
Was it cold when you were sleeping on the ammunition?
No, not really cold.
So it was probably like September, October.
It was wet and damp.
Yeah.
But,
So, you said you liberated a camp?
oh, that was at the end of the war. That was in Moosburg, Germany.
Okay.
That was, I forget the date.
Here, I'll look it up.
Moosburg, there was American prisoners, Italians, and French, and every kind of prisoners was there, and we liberated them. We set up showers and issued fresh, clean clothes to them. And I think it was like 20,000 prisoners there. And all we did was set up showers and clothes.
Were the prisoners army? Or were they...
All kind.
No, well, what I mean is... Oh, okay. It wasn't a Luftwaffe run camp. It wasn't an Air Corps...
It was just a...
Right, an army...
It was just a camp where they kept prisoners.
Yeah, where they kept them.
They had every kind. London, British, England, Indians, you name it, they lived. And then when we liberated them, these men went wild, and they went to town and drank anything they could get. And they raped the women, because they was wild. They got liberated.
Yeah. Do you, did they seem like they were mistreated when you got them out of camp? Were they malnutrition?
We didn't get to talk to them too much because we were busy. But they seemed like they were tickled to death to get liberated.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
That made their day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anything else that happened in Europe that you want to?
I went through the death camp, seen the bodies in the furnaces.
Which one?
Dachau.
Dachau?
Yeah.
Do you?
I didn't see any dead. I seen partial bodies, but in the furnaces, they didn't get them all burned up.
Yeah.
Oh.
Can you You know, what was going through your mind when you were walking through that? Because did you know about the death camps before that?
They knew we knew what we was going to see, but that was about all. But actually, it was just you just walked through and looked and walked on out. But we didn't actually realize what was going on.
Did the Army have you do that intentionally, or did they just?
They asked us if we wanted to do it.
Okay,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
right.
And I went up to Hitler's big house. We took a truck up that way for sightseeing. Up in the hills.
Eagle's Nest. Yeah.
I can't remember the
In the
name of it.
Alps.
It's up in the hills.
Yeah, up in the
A
Alps.
big old circle drive, and
The 101st had the airborne had gone up there first and
Yeah,
ransacked the
but
place.
we had went through his castle or his home. They had it all roped off. We could almost follow the ropes around through the building.
Huh.
It was all marble floor, and they didn't want us to walk on it. But that was about all of it. Actually, time went fast.
Yeah.
I went to London for 7 days, and after the war was over, and my 7 days didn't start till I got to London. And I spent two weeks in the Havre, France, waiting for the English Channel to settle down so we could get over to London. And when I got to London, I got over there, somebody stole all my clothes. All I had was what I had on. See, over there, if you tuck your boots off, you better hang on to them because somebody will steal them and sell them. Mm-hmm. But I spent 7 days there. When I got out of there, I was a guard over German prisoners. And then I went to Switzerland for 3 days. And when I come back, I was transferred to Nuremberg, Germany, and I was MP, and I was guard American prisoners in Nuremberg, and I have pictures of the Nuremberg prison.
Mm-hmm.
But just those things like that, it's hard to remember all that happened. We're talking about 70 years ago.
Oh yeah.
So
And it's hard to remember everything 70 years ago.
where were you? Can you recall the moment when the war in Europe ended, when you found out?
When the war ended in Europe, everybody was happy. Mm-hmm. But I went to, our outfit went to Munich, Germany, and there was a big German training camp there, and we started training for the South Pacific. Mm-hmm. And right away, we get up and walk. We didn't walk, we had to run 2-3 miles, and then we come home for breakfast, train for the South Pacific. And we was just lucky the war ended in September.
Mm-hmm. So were you fitting to go over there then?
No, we didn't go there.
Were you getting ready to go though? Like if it would have ended when it did?
We was training for the South Pacific when the war ended. But we didn't, you see, the war ended in May, and the war ended in September.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So they knew what was going on.
So did they tell you you'd be not going to the Pacific and?
No, they didn't tell nothing. They don't tell you
anything.
nothing. No, they don't tell you nothing. I seen General Patton driving down through town behind a machine gun.
Oh, was he?
Corporal was driving. He was behind the machine gun.
Oh, in a Jeep or what?
Yeah, in a Jeep. He
Yeah.
had a big old white pistol on his hip, pearl handle on his hip, standing up. And
You think he was doing it for show?
yeah, he was.
He was trying
He
to
was
see
showing
guys.
off. He was showing off to the Americans.
Yeah. Was he doing it for your benefit or the people in the
I
town?
think he was just traveling through towns, and he was watching everything
Yeah.
because he didn't want to be. A sniper would shoot you,
Oh, yeah.
shoot him, yeah.
Okay.
And outside of that, time went fast. You didn't have time to mess around. I mean, we moved a lot. We was going to go every day, every week, 2-3 days on the go, on the go.
You said food was.
It was C ration, K ration.
Did you ever find anything to supplement your
Oh, yeah.
farmers' fields and
No.
what was the best stuff you? No.
No, we didn't
No.
get no. We didn't get hardly. One of the guys shot a deer over there, and the captain confiscated it.
Oh. Okay.
We wasn't allowed to shoot animals
All right.
for food.
No.
But I didn't care for the C rations. Yes, but K rations, we had to eat, so everything was good. The food was good.
Huh.
So,
except the hash.
yeah, right,
Except the
except the
hash.
hat.
Yeah.
So when you found out the war in the Pacific was over, do you know where you were when you found out?
I don't know. When the war, I was still, I think, in Munich, Germany. I'm not sure. I think we was trained for South Pacific at Munich when we was in Munich. And I don't know how true it was, but I shouldn't even be saying this, but there was an MP out there guarding traffic. These towns all tore out Munich. This was in Munich. Buildings tore and then one-way traffic through the streets because the rubble was in there. This MP was guarding, and maybe you shouldn't put it on there. But,
Go ahead.
yeah, okay.
That's fun.
This colored guy was walking down the sidewalk with a blonde woman. And this MP didn't care too much for it. And this colored guy says, "Don't worry about it. When I get back to the States, I'll date your sister." So the MP pulled his .45 out and shot him.
Oh.
Man.
Shot him and killed him?
Yeah, killed him right there on the sidewalk. That's why I said I didn't know what I should have said that.
Yeah.
But that's over and forgotten. I don't even know who he was. I don't know what happened or nothing.
Wow. A little surprising. Yeah.
But when he said, his sister, that was the end.
Mm-hmm.
So can you talk about, I know you said you guarded prisoners in Nuremberg. Can you go into that a little bit, maybe what that was like on a daily basis?
The prison, they had us down in the hallway. At each end is a gate, like I'm down here, walking here, and then each end is another guard. And he's walking this way, and you're down here in the middle, and no guns. And every time you walk by, you like to look in the cages to make sure the guys don't commit suicide, because there's all American prisoners in there for death. Some of them for murder, some rape, and most of them for death. When they murder, they rape, it's death. And I was guard there for not too long, and that's when I come home then. That was in February '45. It was cold weather then. And Battle of the Bulge, we had guys froze to death. With 4 weeks' time, there's 20,000 men died. And a lot of them froze to death. Infantry, not us now. Infantry.
Yeah.
But that's hearsay too.
Well,
But outside that, time went fast for me.
How'd you get home?
I got back, landed in past Pearl, Statue of Liberty, and then we got on this ferry and went over to New Jersey, and then we got on the train and went to Indian Cap, Pennsylvania. And that's when I got out February 26, 1940.
6? Yeah, 46.
46.
Okay.
I got left the Indian Cap, Pennsylvania, and I drove the Greyhound bus all the way home to Sydney.
Where'd you leave from in Europe?
You know,
Did you leave from England or France?
I can't remember.
Just glad to be going.
So how were you received by your family and community?
How did they treat you when you got back?
Oh, they were surprised. Nobody knew I was coming home. I didn't tell nobody. I come in on the bus, and I called my sister, and she come to the bus station in town and picked me up, took me out to her farm. They rented a farm, and they had 3 kids and little birds. It's unbelievable. That was back in 46.
Yeah.
So I forgot to ask you, when you were overseas, how did you stay in touch with your family? Did you have any way mail?
V-mail. And Captain hollered at me because I didn't write home enough. And when I did write, he cut the pictures out every time I wasn't supposed to tell him where I'm at, or what outfit I'm in, or nothing like that. And I didn't know what to know. I put something in there, and he cut it out. So then I started writing on both sides, and he still cut it out. And I tried to get word home to where I was at, like name of the town and stuff like that. But he cut it all out. because everything was copied and sent microfilm home,
Mm-hmm.
and then Vmail, little envelopes about 3 by 3.
Okay.
I got some of them too, not from me, but from my father-in-law.
Oh,
My mom's father
yeah,
was
yeah.
in World War II also. She got little letters from her dad.
So, did you make any good friends while you were overseas? Did you make any good friends while you were overseas?
No,
No.
no.
Couldn't stick to yourself.
It was just the guys in our outfit is all. And not real good friends because we didn't get to communicate too much. I mean, you did your job the next morning, we moved, next day we moved. And you didn't get to talk to them and play cards or nothing like that. You just, daytime you was moving or doing something, and at night you went to sleep and guard duty, and that was it. Time went fast.
Did you stay in touch with any of them after the war?
To my,
Anybody
no, I didn't associate with too much over there. We was moving on, and I didn't make too many friends over there. And except, well, I shouldn't say that. Marlene Dietrich was a girl of my heart. I seen her in London when I went to London for 7 days. I seen her on the show. I didn't talk to her now, don't get me wrong, but she was beautiful.
Of course she was.
Me, 19 years old.
Yeah, yeah. So how did you readjust back to the civilian life?
Well, when I got home, you know, we've got, at that time was unemployment. What was it, 52.20. We could draw $20 a week for 52 weeks. But the unemployment office, they just bound determined they was going to get me a job. So I wouldn't get that $20. They didn't want to pay $20. And I was wanting to take life easy. So then they said I had to do this, I had to do that. And so I got a job. You know where they went? To a foundry. Garland Hasbro Iron Foundry. That's where I got my first job when I got back. And I was making, I got up to 90 cents an hour, and I was supposed to get a nickel, and I told the boss if I didn't get that nickel on the next payday, he put me off a couple of weeks. And I said, if I don't get that nickel on the next Friday, I'm quitting. So at 2 o'clock, they come around giving them my checks, and I quit at 2 o'clock. He said, you can't quit now, you got to change weights on these molds. And I said, I quit as of right now. And I walked out. And I was getting 90 cents an hour, and I quit and went over to Stoley's and worked for 82.5 cents an hour. But I made more money because I got overtime.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. That's funny.
Yeah. That's about all I can think of to say.
Yeah. Did you join any veterans organizations?
Do I helped,
Like a VFW, AMVETS?
I helped to get the VFW started
In Sydney?
in Sydney, Ohio. I was commander in 81.
That's right, got a picture.
When we got, we was a Legion, I was commander of Legion in 80 and 81. And then I was VFW 81 and 82, I think. But the building we're at right now is, there was 5 of us went and signed a note. We borrowed $50,000 in First Federal Bank. And there was 5 of us signed the note, and they're all dead but me.
Oh, wow.
I'm the only one living out of the 5.
Out of the 5, that's
Okay.
And,
good.
but anyhow, now they're thinking about closing up. Shelby County, they're thinking about closing Shelby County.
Oh, really?
And call it Shelby County Veterans.
Oh,
If you
okay.
can.
And call it Shelby County Veterans.
So, what have you done since you, besides, was that it? You just worked at the iron?
The foundry?
Yeah.
Yeah, I quit the foundry and went to Stoley's.
Right.
Okay.
And then I worked 11 years at Stoley's. And I quit Stoley's, went to Omar Bakeries for 10 years. Sold house to house. So,
Oh.
and then they went bankrupt. I lost my retirement.
Oh, no.
I lost my retirement at Stoley's. And so then I went to Baumfolder. And I worked Baumfolder for 21 years. I retired,
Oh.
I retired in 88, 1988.
What'd you do for them?
I started out in a drill line, drill press, and I went to put the machine together, assembly.
Oh,
assembly.
okay.
And I got a little incident there. One of the guys was jealous of my work, and he wanted my job. So he went to the boss, and she's still living too. And I can't think of her name right offhand. Anyhow, he went to her and told her that I was stealing from the company.
Ouch.
And so she didn't take his word too much, because she came out and asked me that she heard I was stealing stuff. And I told her what I was doing. I put these motors on, and I cut maybe 4 foot of wire off the motors, and then I rewire them, up here. And that 4 foot of wire we throw in the trash can. Well, I was taking my knife, put them in a vise and stripping them, taking the insulation off. And I take the copper home, and maybe a pound a month or something like that, or a week, not too much. And so every day she passed me, she called me the stripper. And she's still boss at Baumforder. It's not Baumforder now,
It's Heidelberg.
Heidelberg, and she's still there.
Huh.
Janet
Wow.
Bonanza.
Janice Bonanza.
Bonanza.
Yeah, Bonanza, that's her name, and she's still boss there. And I should tell you, but Colleen got her ear, so I'll tell you anyhow.
Cover your ears.
So I went to see her about my retirement. See, I got $5,000 life insurance when I die. And I went to see her, and she said, Tony, she said, you remember Pete Molitor, don't you? And I said, yeah. She said, come in here, I want you to see him. So I went in there, and he's about 450 pounds. And he sits about this far from the table, and he's just like this, And I said, Janice, Pete here, I said, his dad, I always told his dad he had the biggest Peter in town. She got a kick out of that. She did, she really did. Yeah. Yeah, Pete Molitor's his name. He's still living there, but he weighs about 400 pounds.
So we're gonna go into some reflections. So
Think back.
yeah, how did the wartime experiences affect your life?
Actually, I did just like a grain of salt, and nothing affected my life. I just went, I knew I had to do it, and I'm in there to stay, so I did it, and the best of my ability, and hoped I got out.
Okay. So what are some life lessons you learned from your service? Like
Lessons?
Yeah, life lessons or life skills you gained from the military.
Actually, I didn't gain those skills, because all I did was guard and lay telephone wire, and anybody could lay wire, and answer the switch box. And actually, there was no skills to learn.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, wasn't.
So how's your service in World War II affected your feeling of the war in general, and the military?
It didn't hardly affect me at all, because actually I was still young, and it didn't bother me. I was just glad to get out, but it didn't affect me none until I got out. And the only thing that really affected me, I think they took away my prime life from 18 to 23.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my life that I enjoyed going out with the girls and dating girls. See, when I come home from service, I didn't know nobody. Yeah, that's the only thing. But otherwise, my life was pretty nice.
Yeah. So this is going to go to the Library of Congress and be stored there for people to view it in the future if they want to, learn about World War II veterans. Is there any message that you wanted to leave for anybody who's going to end up viewing this recording?
Well, I don't know what to say on the messages. I wouldn't have an idea. Just all I know is if you get the service, do what they tell you, whether it's right or wrong. It's the Army way, the right way, and the wrong way, but you had to do it the Army way. That's what they told us. Wrong way, Army way, and the right way. And you had to do it the Army way. Whether it's right or wrong, that's what you had to do.
Sounds about right.
But that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Because wrong way, right way, and Army way, yeah. And that's the way it worked.
Jeff, do you have any more questions for him?
Yeah. You got out in 46 and you were 23. When the Korean War started,
Yeah.
did they threaten to take you back in or anything?
Well, when I got out, they wanted me to join the reserves.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't join the reserves. If I would have, I went to Korea.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
because you were only, when Korea started, you were only 28 or 29,
Yeah, something like that.
yeah.
But if I'd joined the reserves, which a lot of people did,
Yeah.
they went to Korea.
All right.
And some of them lost their lives. I know.
Oh, yeah.
My wife's cousin out in Arkansas, he went to Korea and he was in the Army, and but he was in Arkansas now, and but he had to go to the Army, his reserve, and he wished now he never joined the reserve. But he's got 3 kids runs it. They joined the reserves. Yeah, out in Arkansas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think of anything else?
Do you have anything you wanted to add?
No, that's it.
Okay, great.
Cool.
Well, thanks for doing this interview and thank
Yeah.
you for your service.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Thank you.